Hello everybody and welcome back to Analytics Mindset. In this specific video, I will go ahead and talk a little bit more on the professional development side. I will still talk through LaTeX, a very powerful markup language, and how to use it to actually build a resume. I will use my own resume and tell you how I went from a Word version to my LaTeX version, as well as any recommendations that I may have. For starters, I want to give a shout out to Annie Dorsey because she recommended me to get away from Word and try to get something new with LaTeX. As you can see here, this is my final LaTeX resume. This is what it came from experimenting with LaTeX on my behalf. Here it has my name first, then my contact information, my work experience, my education, skills, and professional certifications. Very important detail about here, I am not giving you advice on how to make your resume. That is something up to you, and there is a lot of resources everywhere for that. I will focus mostly on how I changed my resume from the Word version to the LaTeX version. With that being said, I will also leave any code that I have, including the code on my resume, in the description in case you want to play around with it, as well as anything else that you may need, and maybe one or two resume tips pages there as well. So first of all, this resume came out for my need of updating my current resume. This is my last version on Word that is basically as current as last month. Here you can see that I start with education, then I go to work experience, then skills, and then my professional certifications. Now, as you can notice here, there is way less information in this resume than in this resume. There is a little bit more of information here, in part because I took advantage of the spacing, and I also took advantage of a little bit more on the font and the space between the lines. But in general, this resume has way less information in general. And you can also see how I did redo my links, because now in the current LaTeX resume, I can just click on the links here. For example, if you were to, I don't know, try to get to my YouTube channel, you can press that button and there you go. You can just subscribe to my channel, I will appreciate it, and drop a like anywhere you want. With the self-promotion being done, we can go ahead and see what's behind that resume. This is what's behind this resume. So LaTeX is a powerful markup language. It is not a full programming language. However, it does compile. I'm using this editor called Overleaf that is fully online. I can just use it on my browser. I do not need to download anything. I fully recommend it. And it also comes up with the template that I use for this resume that I will also link in the description. And this comes from this, latextemplates.com. It's also from this website. Now, as you can see here, there is a lot of specific language regarding LaTeX and its syntax. I will not go that into detail in this video. I could, however, I do want to keep this as a more on the shorter side of the video. What you need to do in general is this declaring the document class. This is giving me some packages similar to the import package from Python. And this gives me the title format, page style, and new command. This is gray. This is assigning this gray color that some of my sections have on the headers. Now, we can begin the document, and we will start by experimenting with LaTeX. Now, this is the compiling view here. Think about it this way, similar to our Python console that we have done multiple times. You first take whatever code is here, pass it through the compiler, and that's going to bring you something back. In Python, we did hello world, a lot of other machine learning algorithms, etc. Here, I am just doing my formatting of my text. Now, you may notice this percentage here. This is how you comment in LaTeX. So what if we comment this side, for example? We're going to comment that line 53. As you can notice here, even if you're not familiar with the syntax of LaTeX, you know that this has my name here. This has my name and is giving it a font. Therefore, if I compile it again with that line being commented out, my name is nowhere to be found because of that. I will go ahead and get it back. And if I recompile this again, I have my name back. Now you can see here, this is my contact information. I did use this here to get basically a hyperlink to each of these ones. So instead of looking like my old resume, like remember, I basically put my email here and then my LinkedIn profile, hyperlink, my work, my portfolio, and my YouTube channel. Instead of doing that, it's directly straight over here. So if you wanted to see my LinkedIn profile, you can do that straight over here. There you go. That's my LinkedIn profile. Now, going a little bit down over here, you have sections. So the first section is work experience, and I am making it actually a blue. So you may not notice this, but this here is blue, a very dark blue, but still blue compared to the rest of the black here. It was a personal decision. I just prepared that way to make it a little bit more relevant. Then there's a ton of formatting. I do use this grade command here to make my employer grade and put it here into this box over here. And I also use bullet points. So very similar to my old resume, I had bullet points here. Here I also want to have bullet points. So all the points of my resume, just to make it easier to read, are here. Then we have a space here, and this V space allows us to have this jump here. So it separates the first employer for the second employer, etc. So this is this little jump that you see here. Very similar here to the next section. If we go to the next section, is education. That finishes the table that we were doing. So this comes to the next education section. Pretty standard again. My education is in this side, and this is where it says degree, university, coursework, etc. And then we end up with the space because we want to get one more space there to the other degree here. From there, we can go to skills. In skills, and this is the section that probably had the biggest change here. More of a personal decision. Instead of having all of them like this, just put it together and cluster together, I prefer to have them in different lines. So you have my programming languages. My main proficiency is in Python and R respectively, and with a little bit of Java. Therefore, I decided to do it that way. ETL tools, because that's where a lot of my experience is as well. Then databases, languages, and other skills. I also decided to put first my programming languages here and all the descriptions in the right, while the actual content to the left. Then the section that also had quite a bit of changes is professional certifications. Recall that in my old resume, I did have them in 2 columns here. That is still true here, but it has better formatting because now they are at the middle of it. In this case here, they are centered to the left. From there, I end the center, I end the document. Now, this is the file outline that Overleaf gives me. It may seem confusing at this, but that's because it just goes to the section name. If I go to the first one, that is work experience. That is my first section. So all of this is one section. That is how LaTeX interprets it. Then I go to the second one. The second one is education. Here you have my education here. All of this is my education. The third one is my skills here. And the last one is my professional certifications. Now, I did make sure that my resume fit in one page. I do have some additional experience. However, I did not consider that it was necessary for this specific resume. In fact, there is probably a lot that I could have changed it here. I'm going back to the PDF version. As you can see here, I could have used way more space, for example. I do not need the university twice, probably, even though there are different faculties. It is kind of redundant. For example, if I really wanted to optimize on my resume experience, I could also add more bullet points to my professional work experience, and maybe I could also put more space in my professional certifications. But again, to having adapted a template and keeping into account that this is my first time using LaTeX, I feel pretty comfortable with this resume. This is something I can present to applications in case I need to apply somewhere. It is probably not to the level of maturity that this resume had because I have been working on this resume for years until getting to this point. However, I'm pretty confident that working through it, improving it a little bit, maybe making this a little bit smaller or shifting it to the left so I have more space, etc., will help me in the long run. Anyway, with that being said, I did want to share that with you. Again, this is not this is how your resume should look like kind of deal. This is a specific resume for a specific industry in a very specific country. If you want to write a resume from scratch, there is a lot of resources online. I'm always here to help you. However, do not take my resume for building your own resume unless you feel that is the adequate way. I have it in a certain way because this resume is very tailored to me, both the Word version and the PDF version in LaTeX. But with that being said, let me know in the comments if you found this useful. If you want me to do a follow-up video with more specific regarding the LaTeX syntax, I will leave some resources in my description. And as always, you can feel free to reach out to me in the comments or in my LinkedIn. Thank you. Have a good day.